What a year 2023 has been, and I'm glad I got to spend it with you. Thanks for watching. We ask that you continue watching. Of course, this show wouldn't be put together if it wasn't the people who you don't see daily. So many people have worked on the show and continue to work on the show so we can make it better for you. ATI Pro Media will always be free, live at 9. Click like and subscribe. But as we get into the show today in the year-end review, I want to give a big heartfelt thanks to Mr. Rick Lehner. Rick, thank you for everything you do. Take 15 seconds and tell us what you do.
I do whatever you tell me to do. How's
Come
that?
on now, seriously.
Some technical support behind the scenes, some graphic design, photography stuff as we needed. You name it. We just fill in where needed.
You help us so much, and we thank you. Real quick,
You're
stay
welcome.
there, Rick. We got producer Joe. That's my brother. He is sitting there at home. He's normally here at the House in Valparaiso. Joe, tell folks what you do real quick.
I research news to put into the stream, and then I click it in and bring people in and out of the studio.
Which you're going to do shortly. Who are we going to have on the show today, Joe?
Today we've got Connor Bridgman and Brady Huck, our two faves.
Our two fan faves. All right, let's get in the show. Thank you both so much, and I look forward to 2024.
Happy New Year.
Now you get to see what Joe does. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We should have an action-packed show. We're going to go light on the graphs, and we're going to talk about pretty much things that we know are going to happen in 2024. We'll do our best not to go full like the show The View and talk over each other, but we have a lot of things to say in a short time to say them. Brady Huck's going to go first. Brady Huck.
You bet. Well, the first thing on my mind, Tommy, is the January WASD, 10 days away from a January WASD DC1 stocks report, 10 trading days away, 2 weeks away from today. But that creeps up on us each year, it seems like. We go through this winter doldrums and slow trade, and then we got a big market moving report. So that's the first thing on my mind for what we know is going to come coming up. The other thing, as I look back real quick, March corn, Connor, Tommy, what was it trading at last year, a year ago? Any guesses?
You told me before he came on. What do you think, Tommy?
It like $1.40 higher or something. I'm embarrassed to say that we've come off a lot.
680 versus 470.
80.
Significant move. And the other thing, quick there, marketing in an inverse. 680 corn, and we had DC23 at $6. Makes it really difficult on farmers for marketing in inverse. Today we've got a carry out there, $5 corn versus $4.74 today. But
Connor, there's our friend from LinkedIn. Good morning.
Good morning. And I just want to say you had Rick and Joe on there. They were both being modest for how much they do for this show. I don't think we'd be able to do it without Rick or Joe day to day, or even the prep work that went into it before we launched. So other things, jumping right into it, what we know for 2024, I'm going to pull up my bullet points. So the big one, Tommy, what we know, and Brady, is we know there's going to be an election this fall. That's going to be a big, right? Depending on who we're going to have in office come December or January of 2025, that's going to affect us in the ag community very much. Brady hit on it, the USDA reports. Jan 12th is a big one, right? We know when they're coming, and we know the ones that are historically big market movers. We've got the one in March. We've got June 30th was, in my opinion, one of the biggest market movers in 2024. And so we'll watch those. Those are things we can plan for. We know they're coming. We know they're going to move the market. Other one I had, and I'll kick it over to you guys, SAF rhetoric, sustainable aviation fuel. We saw them announce that 2 weeks ago, right? And it was a big rah-rah article. Here we go. They didn't define what they're going to say is sustainable aviation fuel. They're going to define that by March 1st on March, right? And hopefully, right, I'm optimistic that they will say biodiesel ethanol is going to be included in that mandate, and it's going to be a big win for farmers. But time will tell what they're going to say there.
Yeah, real quick, I'll add a little color to those. Is that the one thing we know, we didn't add it to that bullet point, is you are going to be a farmer or rancher. Every year, we have a few clients tell us they're going to retire or slow down. But in general, people watching this are watching this because they're interested in ag finance, some sort of that. And you are going to be a farmer. And I would hate, again, in 2024 for you to pretend you're shocked that you grew a crop. We've taken the last 100 years and made our soil better, genetics and technology, and that is exploding. Another thing we know is that we can't control the weather. There's a lot of factors in the front end we can control. Did we have a few other slides on that?
Well, that's what we don't. The other one we had is what we don't know. What we know along those lines, right? We know you're going to be farming in 2024, and we know you're long grains, right? Unless we, I think everyone probably listening to this, we're going to be significantly long for 2024 and probably completely long for 2025. Keep that in mind looking at marketing decisions. And so here, unfortunately, it's a much longer list, Tommy and Brady. 2024, what we don't know. What are our black swans? What are things we can't plan for, right, for 2024? The big one, guys, I'll kick it over to you, though. The ones we always have: yield, right? Brazil yield, US yield, weather, acreage, right? Other things that we don't know what to plan and what they're going to say in 2024.
Yeah.
Yep.
Connor, you mentioned that weather, and we'd look at US and, a lot of eyes on US, a lot of eyes on South America. One thing I think about is, this last year with US weather and just-in-time rains. Are we seeing that right now in South America and Brazil? Getting some timely rains on that crop right now. Is it just-in-time rains down there?
Yeah. Just-in-time rains on good genetics, right?
Speaking of weather, Joe, pull up under the comments. We have our dear friend Luke sent us a question. When you guys want to read it, there's a big word in there. I know what they're talking about, though, on this 89-year cycle. I'll answer the question. How do you pronounce
that? Do you take much stock in the Gleisberg cycle, 89-year major drought cycle? Thank you, Luke, for the question.
Put the kid in front of the class, make them say the big words. I've listened to podcasts about people who talk about this, and I find it fascinating. But it would be silly to bet a lot of your marketing on, I'm not going to sell because the 89-year cycle. There's a lot of cycles and a lot of things that happened. There's even people who say the government can control the weather. So who are you to say that the way things were 89 years ago are still the way they are now? The climate's changed for different reasons. I'm not taping myself to a pole and yelling the climate's changing. I'm just saying that it changes consistently. There's times when we're abnormally warm, like we are. There's times when we're in wet patterns. I guess the point to Luke, I would say, is understand the environment and where you farm and use the best crop insurance and plan you can to adjust to it. But you're going to be able to pivot. You want to add to that, Brady? Because you live in one of those areas. Connor lives in God's country down there where 250 bushel corn is a bad year.
Amen. Yeah. Amen.
The thing that stands out to me is the 89-year drought cycle. I would love for an 89-year drought cycle. We usually have a 3 or 4 year drought cycle out here in western Kansas. So the weather is always a curveball. But farmers are good at their jobs and are trying to grow the most bushels they can on their acre, and your neighbor's trying to grow the most bushels they can on their acres as well.
Yeah, let's pull up that PowerPoint again. A couple more comments I want to say on there. Interest rates. I wanted to talk about a little bit yesterday. We didn't on wrapping up 2023. Tommy Grisafi's #1 shocker. As we started preparing for the show 100 days ago, interest rates, the 10-year yield had a 5.05. We are probably at 3.85 today. Rates have went up a little bit. Call it 3.90 for simple math. This is a tremendous benefit to the housing market, to the land market, to anyone borrowing, and it's a big deal because the fear was interest rates are absolutely going to explode and we're going to have an 80s moment. I watch land prices trade live daily. We are not having an 80s moment. For those of you who own American farmland, congratulations. You hit the lotto. Now, what you're going to do with that lotto ticket, I don't know, but that land's going to need to do something. It's either going to need to grow something or become a subdivision or a dollar store. Choice is up to you. The clients I work with who seem to be the best farmers I know, their #1 thing they're doing to own ground is tiling it. Take your best dirt, make it even better, ditch the rest, farm the best, and have a good year. Anything else on this you guys want to talk about?
Tommy, what on tiling, what's your line? If you love yourself, buy a condo. If you love your kids, buy land. If you love your grandkids, tile it.
Yeah.
You said that once, and I love it. That's
I get
fantastic.
paid by Roger Ellingson from Ellingson Tile to say that, but he's right. And his family started tiling many years ago. They just celebrated their 50th anniversary. They're at year 52. He literally grew up in an area that was sometimes unfarmable, that is now some of the richest soils in the Midwest, right there outside of Rochester, Minnesota, up in that area. And then he went to the Red River Valley and started tiling that. If you want a Tommy Grisafi prediction, in the next 20 years, the Red River Valley is going to just plow in tile as fast as they can. And as genetics change on the fringe acres, this would go out to north, south, east, west. We're going to continue to grow more bushels in areas we used to not. And that is going to mess up the marketing pattern of the I-State farmer. The I-State farmer will continue to be surprised on where these bushels came from.
Farmer Brett, I need $3 corn again to get that dip in farmland prices.
Only advice, Brett, is maybe hedge some $5 while we're here. Maybe hedge some $5 corn before we see the $3.
There you go.
I like that. An actionable question and an actionable alert. Of course, Paul Zimmerman said, "Why didn't you introduce the best member of the team, Gina G?"
Oh,
Gina
we saved
G,
her for last, didn't we? Tommy?
We did. Anyone want to finish the show of? I'm excited about 2024. I know we have a bunch of surprises for people. We'll leave that for later. Palestine, Israel, that has to be talked about.
That's the Palestine, Israel, and Russia, Ukraine, right? Russia, Ukraine was probably more 2022 news. It's kind of been kicked to the back burner. But if we see escalation in that or something like that, right? The geopolitical headlines that affect us in the ag community are things we can't necessarily plan for, but we've got to be prepared for, right? The Palestine, Israel one is one that if we see any significant escalation, it's going to be a huge deal. And that's something we're going to watch very closely, right? And then along the same lines, we've talked recently about the border disruptions, right? Mexico's our number one corn buyer for 2023, right? If we see some type of border disputes, border closing, that's going to affect us as well. We're not really sure what that's going to show, but be ready, keep watching that, and we'll see where that goes in 2024.
Here's a list of what we know, a list of things we know that we don't know. What's going to surprise me is what we add to that list that we have no idea, that we don't expect.
God willing, we'll all be here in a year and we'll look back and reflect on today's episode. That's fun to do. I got to tell you both, I'm so proud of you. I'm going to start crying. No, seriously, I'm proud of you guys. You guys, I asked you to step up a few months ago. You did, not only for yourselves, but for the whole firm. And I think you both will be surprised on the viewers increasingly wanting more information. We're going to deliver just that in 2024. We're going to continue to deliver information both live at 9, which will be free. And then, of course, we're going to have premium content. And the farmer and the rancher and the banker and the insurance salesman are asking for it. And you bet your bottom that's advanced trading and ATI Pro Media will deliver. Yes, sir.
That's what we know, right? ATI Pro Media, we're going to continue doing this every day, rolling out more stuff for people that want the more information. So thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Brady. Had a blast doing this in 2023. Looking forward to 2024.
We went out with record people watching. I think we're just starting, folks. And here's our best team member we have. Have a great 2023, end of 2023. I'll see you all in 2024.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.